The weight of the collar felt foreign against my skin. I had chosen it months ago, a sleek, platinum piece from a boutique downtown, for my Omega sibling. Now it sat cool and heavy around my own neck, its smooth interior a constant, strange pressure against the inflamed scent gland just beneath. It was the only thing containing the sweet, cloying fragrance that threatened to seep out of me. I had sent it as a gift, and now I wore it as a shield. This world operated on a brutal hierarchy. The system in my head, a cold presence I'd named Zero, reminded me daily of my role. I was to play the antagonist, to torment the protagonist, Leo Reed, until his inherent goodness shattered into something darker. My function was to be the catalyst for his ruin. Do I look capable of bullying anyone? I whispered internally, my voice weak even in my own mind. I'm just a coward. Zero's response was not immediate. The silence stretched for several beats, a digital void. Then the mechanical tone returned, flat and final. Non-compliance results in reversion to your point of origin. You will resume your place in the morgue. Permanently. My plea for mercy was genuine, desperate. When awareness returned, I was no longer myself. I was Ethan Vance. Leo Reed was now my stepbrother. The differing surnames were a convenient fiction, a narrative loophole to ease future conflict, I supposed. My parents had divorced amicably years ago. My father, embracing a modern approach to relationships, believed in committed partnerships without formal marriage. That's how we'd met Leo's mother. They connected instantly, forming a new household with an unsettling ease. According to Zero's parameters, I was to embody the spoiled heir, a bully who preyed on the vulnerable. The story began with Leo's arrival at our house in the suburbs. My first assigned task was to establish dominance. Consider this an introductory mission, Zero stated, its tone almost conversational. Minimal difficulty. Prior to his transformation, the protagonist is remarkably pliant. Before I saw him, I held onto that hope. My new stepbrother would be polite, quiet, perhaps shy. That would be manageable. Then he walked through the front door. He was polite. He was quiet. He offered a soft, "Hello, Ethan," with a smile that showed perfectly straight, white teeth. That was the good part. He was also a full head taller than me, his shoulders broad beneath his simple sweatshirt. The disparity in our sizes was immediately profoundly discouraging. Weren't we practically the same age? Your son is quite substantial, isn't he? I managed to say to his mother, my heart sinking. My faint hope for an easy target dissolved completely. How was I supposed to intimidate someone who looked like he could bench press me without breaking a sweat? Zero, I thought, despair coloring the mental communication. A revision to the mission parameters is strongly recommended. This seems fundamentally flawed. The system's reply was laced with digital scorn. You are an alpha. He is an omega. Utilize your pheromones. Your apprehension is illogical. I had only been an alpha for 48 hours. For over 2 decades before that, I had been terminally, utterly ordinary. The disconnect was staggering. Then Zero delivered the incentive. Successful task completion rewards 30 days of robust health. The raw, visceral desire for that reward overpowered every other instinct. I was sorry, truly, but I was also a person who remembered pain, who feared its return. All right, I murmured to myself. Let's get this over with. In this reality, the 3 designations, alpha, beta, omega, crystallized at adulthood. The most vulnerable point for any of them was the scent gland at the nape of the neck. For an omega, exposure to an alpha's pheromones could create a profound chemical dependency. Marking was an intimate, potent act, reserved for the closest bonds. For anyone else to attempt influence was a severe violation, a legal offense that could involve the Omega Protection Bureau. Under the dual pressure of threat and temptation, I led Leo up to his new room. I closed the door softly behind us, a silent prayer echoing in my skull. I just needed to get through this. While his back was turned, unpacking a duffel bag, I cautiously let a trickle of my pheromones free. The scent of orange groves and vanilla sugar, faint and sugary, drifted into the air. It was so weak, so inherently non-threatening, I doubted he would even perceive it as a challenge. The distance between my scent and the protective patch on his neck closed to mere inches. Then he turned around. He looked at me, his lips, a shade too red for a boy, I thought absently, pursing slightly. The bag in his hand thudded to the floor. My heart gave a frantic leap, and my already tenuous pheromone output shriveled to nothing. He took a step forward. I instinctively retreated, my shoulder blades pressing into the solid wood of the door. I braced for a physical reaction, my muscles tensing. Instead, I heard a soft, confused inhalation. I caught a sweet smell just now, he said, his head tilting. Was that you, Ethan? Nervousness made me verbose. I touched my own collar, the lye forming easily. Must be a leak from my inhibitor. Don't worry about it. It's a local custom, a familial greeting. You'll get used to the enthusiastic welcome. He blinked, processing this, then his expression grew serious. I see. My apologies for not reciprocating. That was rude of me. My relief that he bought such a flimsy excuse was short-lived. A scent far more potent than my own flooded the room. It was the rich, smoky aroma of aged bourbon, spiced with oak and a hint of dark honey. It was overwhelming, a tangible pressure that made the air thick. My own inhibitor patch felt like tissue paper. The pheromone invaded every sense, a heady, intoxicating wave. I didn't know if it was a pseudo-intoxication or a direct hormonal reaction, but my head swam. A whimper tried to escape my clenched throat. I bit down on my lower lip, silencing it. My mental shouts at Zero were frantic. Why is an Omega's scent this aggressive? Is this normal? Zero offered no answer. My vision blurred at the edges. Through the haze, I saw his eyes, a clear, penetrating gray, holding a vague, unreadable amusement. Ethan, he said, his voice a low rumble. Where should a proper greeting begin? I nodded dumbly, my body sliding down the door. My hand fumbled for the handle. My only coherent thought was to flee. Every second stretched into an eternity, filled with a strange, warm friction humming under my skin. My knees buckled. Just as I thought I'd collapse onto the floor, a broad palm cupped my elbow, steadying me. My fingers instinctively clutched at his wrist. He seemed genuinely concerned, his voice coming from above me. Ether, you feel feverish. In a spike of panicked frustration, I sank my teeth into the base of his thumb. Achievement, initial dominance established. Reward distributed. My father arranged for Leo to transfer into my grade, our teacher thoughtfully making us lab partners to foster fraternal bonds. Leo, with his calm demeanor and striking looks, quickly became the center of attention. A rotating cast of alphas lingered near his desk, their questions transparent excuses. Leo's composure was unshakable, even when two alphas nearly came to blows debating a chemistry formula in front of him. He merely continued sketching in his notebook, a faint, polite smile on his lips. It was a smile that never reached his eyes, a smile that made me feel any request I made would be met with quiet compliance. He seemed to sense my gaze. He stopped writing and passed me a bottle of chilled spring water, knowing I preferred it. These small, observed kindnesses were unsettling. After days of forced cohabitation, I was almost convinced. My new stepbrother was a genuine article, gentle, considerate. He wouldn't hurt a fly. The bourbon-scented incident had to be a fluke. I followed Zero's daily directives. I hid his physics homework, leading to a public reprimand from the teacher. He simply stayed up late, rewriting every problem without a word of complaint. I accidentally left my clean clothes in the hallway, demanding he bring them to the bathroom. He not only delivered them, neatly folded, but also gathered my laundry basket and washed everything, including items that made my face heat with embarrassment. I demanded breakfast. He prepared avocado toast and scrambled eggs. I took one bite and fed the rest to the family retriever, Duke. No one could tolerate this. It was designed to provoke. He apologized. "I'm not much of a cook," he said, his gaze downcast. "I was afraid you'd be hungry." Later, during study hall, he slid 2 artisanal banana nut muffins onto my desk. I looked at the mission interface. Leo's corruption progress bar remained steadfastly at 0%. A profound weariness settled over me. I was not a good person, but he wasn't human. He was a saint carved from marble. Zero's tasks grew more severe. The latest one sat heavily in my mind. I looked away, refusing the water he offered. Outside the classroom window, bruised purple clouds gathered. A storm was coming. I intercepted the 2 umbrellas by the garage door, instructing our driver, Mr. Lewis, not to retrieve them. He didn't question it. As the car pulled away from the curb, rain began to sheet down the windows. I felt no satisfaction, only a hollow chill. A flash of lightning illuminated the interior. My eyes caught a distinctive pink pastry box on the passenger seat. It was from that impossible-to-get-into bakery in the Arts District. I'd mentioned craving their salted caramel eclairs offhandedly weeks ago, dismissing it because of the reservation hassle. "Mr. Lewis," I asked, my voice tight. "The pastry box?" "Master Leo asked me to collect it this morning, sir. Said you'd mentioned it." He'd remembered. A sharp pang, something like guilt, lanced through me. "Turn around, Mr. Lewis. Go back to the school." The driver's eyes met mine in the rearview mirror. He simply nodded. Completion of this objective yields a 60-day health extension, Zero intoned. I barely heard it. As we neared the deserted campus, I spotted him. He stood under the scant shelter of the main entrance awning, looking resigned. He finally shrugged out of his leather jacket, wrapped it carefully around his backpack, and stepped into the downpour. He didn't run. He walked with a slow, measured pace, head bowed, dark hair plastered to his forehead. He looked like a discarded sculpture, beautiful and forsaken. My hand clenched on the umbrella handle beside me. Objective completion in 90 seconds. I slumped back into the seat, letting go. I was a villain, a dying man. Other people's suffering was not my concern. The world could keep its saints. Then Mr. Lewis spoke, his voice edged with alarm. "Sir, a man just followed Master Leo into the side alley. He had something long and metallic in his hand. For a moment, everything stilled. Then my blood seemed to roar in my ears, my heart hammering against my ribs. Thought vanished, replaced by pure instinct. I shoved the car door open and ran. Mission parameters, 0 began. Not now. I screamed internally, the words lost to the pounding rain. I skidded into the alley. A man with a wild, unshaven face had Leo pinned against the wet brick wall, a rusted blade raised high. I only had time to throw myself forward, shoving Leo aside. A searing, cold-hot line opened across my ribs. The shock was more profound than the immediate pain. I crumpled, the world tilting, and the last thing I saw was Leo's eyes, wide with an emotion that looked terrifyingly like horror. Consciousness returned in the sterile, bleached white room of the hospital. A crowd of concerned faces hovered over me. Leo's mother wept, hugging me, offering tearful thanks and apologies. Through a fog of painkillers, I learned the attacker was Leo's biological father, a gambler fresh out of prison looking for a payout. My own father clapped me on my uninjured shoulder, pride in his voice. "Standing up for family. That's my boy." He assured me justice would be served. Leo himself was a silent, red-eyed presence. His knuckles were bandaged. I asked what happened, and he shook his head, refusing to answer, busying himself with peeling an apple with intense focus. He usurped every duty of the nurses, who eventually retreated to the corners. When everyone else left for the night, he refused to go. He would stay. His tone brooked no argument. Alone in the quiet ward, He helped me change the dressing with a surprising, gentle competence, then gathered fresh clothes and disappeared into the attached bathroom. Zero's voice was a whisper in the quiet. Post-incident analysis. After you lost consciousness, Subject Leo subdued the aggressor. The assailant sustained a fractured cheekbone and a dislocated shoulder. Subject Leo's hand injuries were incurred during this process. The slice of cake I was eating, a taro cream confection, my favorite, trembled on its fork. He could have handled it himself. I had inserted myself into a situation where I wasn't needed, earning myself a spectacular scar and a heaping dose of humiliation. I ate the cake, the sweet flavor doing little to soothe my irritation. The next second, Zero's cold tone shattered the moment. Host failure detected in daily task compliance. Yellow level caution issued. Randomized penalty, initiating physical resonance unidirectional. Before I could form a question, a sensation like icy water cascaded over my skin, followed by uncontrollable tremors. There was no one touching me, yet I could feel them, bony, slightly calloused hands moving over my body with possessive, rough certainty. The phantom touch wasn't gentle. It was acclaiming, leaving a heated trail that contradicted the chill. I knew, with immediate, mortifying clarity, who those hands belonged to. A yellow card? I thought, hysterical. This is yellow? The contrast between the cold sensation and the warmth pooling low in my abdomen was maddening. I buried my face in the pillow, stifling a gasp. The sound of the shower in the bathroom cut off abruptly. By the time Leo emerged, his hair damp, a towel in his hands, my face was flaming. "You shouldn't get the bandages wet," he stated, his gaze steady. "Let me help." I saw his bandaged knuckles flex and yanked the towel from his grasp, pulling the privacy curtain around my bed with a frantic jerk. The motion tugged at my stitches and I winced. "I'm fine. Going to sleep. You should too." He didn't move. His silhouette remained just outside the thin curtain. "Ethan. What? Why did you come back for me today?" I thought of my role, the vicious supporting character. I injected a scoff into my voice. "You call me brother. I don't abandon my things." I paused, then added, grudgingly, "And if anyone's going to give you a hard time, it'll be me." I felt a sudden, rhythmic pounding in my chest that wasn't my own heartbeat. I stared at the shadow on the curtain, a tall, lean silhouette that seemed suddenly less like a placid statue and more like a patient predator. Easy to coax, I thought, the phrase feeling less true by the second. A week later, I returned to school. Leo became my unofficial nurse, fussing over my participation in gym class until I relented and took a medical exemption. The wound was healing, but his guilt, it seemed, was not. System assessment. Host performance in crisis management is deficient. Adjusting primary mission narrative. Zero, what are you doing now? A prolonged objective has been generated, monitor and disrupt. Sabotage the protagonist's primary emotional connection, the system emphasized. This is a concession. Continued failure will necessitate host termination per protocol. My focus snagged on a new term. Primary emotional connection? Who is that? The protagonist's destined partner. They are slated to meet during the upcoming biogenetics summer intensive. So, if I wreck his love life, he turns dark? That's the master plan? It is the optimal calculated outcome. The summer camp felt like a distant academic death sentence. I attended biology lectures in a daze of anxiety, my unblinking stare earning misguided praise for attentiveness. After class, instead of napping, I watched the usual cluster of alphas around Leo's desk. Any one of them could be the friend who would introduce him to his so-called destiny. The thought was intolerable. I stood up, my chair scraping loudly. The chatter died. "Don't you all have anything better to do?" My voice was a cold sneer. The collective stench of desperation in here is nauseating. Seeing their shocked faces, I pressed on. I plucked a bag of gourmet gummies from the edge of Leo's desk between my thumb and forefinger as if it were contaminated. This trash? My dog wouldn't eat it. I looked directly at Leo, then back at the crowd. If you want to get close to him, you go through me. Now, get lost." The group dispersed, muttering. I felt like I'd bought myself a few more days of oxygen. Leo was frowning at me, a rare hint of disapproval in his gray eyes. Guilt twisted in my gut. I was overstepping, interfering in his life. Of course he'd be angry. Why defend me from them? He asked, his voice low. He leaned closer, his fingers coming to rest on my shoulder. The warmth seeped through the fabric. "It's unnecessary." His breath stirred the hair near my ear. A sensation like a feather traced down my spine. The high school social ecosystem was brutal in its simplicity. Within days, the entire junior class understood one thing. Leo Reed was under the protection or perhaps the ownership of Ethan Vance. The constant swarm of admirers thinned to a trickle. After school, as I waited for Leo to finish a calculus problem, a classmate sidled up to me, his phone out. "Dude, you need to see this forum post. It's getting ugly." The link led to a torrent of vitriol. I was dubbed the guard dog. They insulted Leo's mother, called her a gold digger. They called me a pathetic, entitled invalid who'd be disowned. Leo overheard the summary. He set his pencil down, his eyelashes casting shadows on his cheeks. "This is my fault. I shouldn't have let you get involved." His voice was so full of faux regret it made my teeth ache. This kid with his gentle mask. If I hadn't felt his phantom hands on my skin in that hospital room, I might have believed him. On impulse, I reached over and ruffled his hair. It was softer than it looked. "Sometimes it's okay to push back," I said, my voice quieter than I intended. "You don't always have to be so careful." The atmosphere shifted, grew charged and strange. I pulled my hand back, embarrassed, but his fingers closed gently around my wrist. After a long moment, he nodded, a small, real smile touching his lips. "Okay." That evening, I mentioned the forum to my father. A call was made to the principal. The next morning, during announcements, several familiar voices stammered through public apologies over the loudspeaker. Later, I heard they'd each taken an unexpected week of sick leave. Leo bought me a miniature cheesecake to celebrate my effective intimidation. I took it as a sign his path was veering away from the script. Zero's reminders to maintain vigilance became a constant hum. I didn't need them. I noticed everything. A faint bruise on his shin from a misstep during track practice, the slight stiffness in his posture after a long study session, things he never mentioned. When the shared resonance flared, letting me feel the dull ache, I confronted him, producing a tube of analgesic cream. "How did you know it hurt here?" he asked, watching me as I handed it to him. He lied smoothly. "Brother's intuition. We're connected." It was a cheat, but he smiled, a genuine, quiet thing that made my own treacherous heart stutter. The monitor and disrupt mission meant I became Leo's shadow. We were together constantly. School, meals, the library, even morning jogs under the guise of supervised cardio. I was a satellite with no blind spot. His corruption meter didn't budge. One evening, soaking in a bath, Zero's weekly report chimed. Performance satisfactory. Reward, 14-day health extension. The positive reinforcement was working. My father commented over dinner, "I never thought I'd see the day Ethan took an academic interest. Leo's a better tutor than any we hired." "Ethan has a wonderful temperament," Leo's mother added. "Leo's never been this close to anyone." To be honest, we were worried. I tuned out their mutual admiration. Plastic parents praising a plastic family. They had no idea of the cost. To secure a spot at the prestigious biogenetics intensive, I had to relearn years of forgotten science. The effort was grueling, but my biology grade skyrocketed. My father was so thrilled he hosted a barbecue. I cried that night from sheer exhaustion. Nothing could go wrong now. Everything went wrong at registration. Separate dorms? I stared at the camp administrator. "Of course," she said, blinking. "You're an alpha. He's an omega. Policy is clear." She consulted her clipboard. and you're in different seminar groups. He's in track A, you're in track B. Schedules are staggered, and the residential wings are on opposite sides of the campus. For safety, my vision tunneled. The distance, the separation, it was a blueprint for disaster. Leo, alone. A pristine white flower in a field of unknown alphas. And the mysterious, destined partner, lurking somewhere in this very camp. This was my last chance. I didn't want to die. The spike of panic must have triggered my pheromones. The sweet, sugary orange scent spilled out. I saw a security officer tense, his eyes scanning. Then Leo was there, his arm coming around my shoulders, pulling me into a firm, grounding embrace. "It's all right," he murmured into my hair. His bourbon and oak scent wrapped around me, subtle but firm, a calming counterpoint. "We'll call. Every day. Video calls," I insisted into his shirt, my voice muffled. "Every night. No less than half an hour. Okay. If you can't video, you call. If our breaks overlap, you come find me. It's a promise." The acute edge of my separation anxiety blunted slightly. As we were about to split for our respective dorms, I saw the administrator pull Leo aside. I caught fragments. Concern, overly dependent, intervention. Leo glanced at me, smiled, and said something too low to hear. The administrator looked at me again, her expression shifting from concern to something like reluctant understanding, and let him go. "What was that about?" I asked. "Nothing important," Leo said, his smile easy. "She admires our brotherly bond." My dorm room housed two others. One was a friendly, lanky guy with an endless supply of campus gossip. His name was Henry, but for some reason, I kept mishearing it as Lotus in my head. He was a beta, sociable, and keen. We became fast acquaintances. No one dislikes gossip unless they are the subject. After my nightly, lengthy call with Leo ended, Henry sidled over, grinning. So he drawled, "Secret romance? What?" "The word is you've got a gorgeous, sweet-natured Omega boyfriend. You're attached at the hip. Hour-long phone calls. And you're older, but he calls you brother." He whistled. "Didn't peg you for the type to land that." I was speechless for a moment. "That's my brother." He winked. "Sure, man. Your brother. I get it. I'm serious. We're not blood related, but he is legally, literally my stepbrother." The grin faded. He was silent for a beat, his expression turning uncharacteristically solemn. "You mean you and your stepbrother are like that?" "Buddy. No. Don't do that. It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" Because from where I'm standing, it looks intense. He saw I was serious. His face underwent a comical series of shifts. Shock, dismay, concern. "Oh wow. Okay. I thought you were just kind of intense before. Now I think you might be, a lot." He shook his head. "I have a brother. This isn't normal. You don't understand the context." "I don't want to understand that context. Even if he's not blood related, that's arguably worse." He was pacing now, a bundle of nervous energy. He grabbed my shoulders, his grip tight. "Does he have any friends? Any space? Any say in this?" His motion jostled my shirt, pulling the collar sideways. He froze, his eyes dropping to the base of my throat. Faint, faded red marks from the most recent resonance episode stood out against my pale skin. My complexion was sensitive. Even light pressure left traces. "Wait," he said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "What are those? Did someone hurt you?" "It's nothing. My brother. He doesn't know his own strength sometimes." The excuse was automatic. The air in the room became very still. Henry's eyes went wide with a dawning, horrified comprehension. He looked at me not with judgment, but with a kind of terrified pity. Without a word, he grabbed his phone and started swiping frantically. "What are you doing?" "Ordering you some books," he said, his voice grim. "Forget biology. You need to study constitutional law. I have a feeling you're going to need it." I offered a tight, polite smile. Thanks. That night I slept poorly. Henry's words cycled in my mind. Overly dependent. No space. No say. He lived under a microscope of my making. What if he was secretly miserable? What if this constant surveillance was itself a form of corruption? I had to try. I had to give him an out. The next day, we met in the crowded dining hall. I tried to sound casual. So, about the calls. Maybe once a day is enough. The walk across campus is a hike. And, you should maybe meet some other omegas. Make friends. Have your own life. I stared at my tray, afraid to see relief on his face. Afraid it would break the careful performance I maintained. After a long pause, his voice came, calm and even. Why the sudden change, Ethan? I thought of the White Lotus archetype of taking the blame. I've met some new people, made a friend. He made me think maybe I've been smothering you. I dared a glance. Leo's head was bowed, his expression hidden by the fall of his dark hair. I see, he said. His voice was quiet, perfectly neutral. All right, I'll follow your advice. For the rest of the day, he kept his distance. That night's video call was brief, polite. I forced cheerfulness into my tone. After I hung up, the silence in my dorm room felt heavier than before. A strange, hollow ache settled in my chest, one I couldn't attribute to any system penalty or physical wound. It felt like watching a door I'd been holding open for months swing slowly, quietly shut.